Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is your Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by Storyblocks, which has been an invaluable asset for us for well over 10 years at this point. Storyblocks gives you unlimited access to royalty-free photos, videos, music, sound effects, vectors, motion backgrounds, and so much more for one subscription cost, which means you don't have to pay per clip. On top of that, there is a Storyblocks plugin for Adobe Premiere as well as DaVinci Resolve, which makes it so much easier for finding your footage. We pretty much use something from Storyblocks in every single video that we make. In fact, here's a video of some penguins. Why? Because I just felt like showing you penguins. They're so cute. To sign up for Storyblocks or to learn more, head on over to storyblocks.com/fro. First up, Nikon Rumors claimed that they've been sitting on news for months that a new 24-70 2.8Z lens was on the way. Now, the reason they gave us for holding the news is I refuse to believe that Nikon would replace one of the Holy Trinity, I call it the Hebrew Trinity lenses, after only 6 years. Well, I guess they think it's probably real, as they are now reporting that they expect a brand new 24-70 2.8 version 2 to be announced soon.
When will then be now?
As of now, they have no detailed information about the rumored lens, but did point out that the current 24-70 2.8 is
not on the list.
It's not on the list for upcoming price increases and currently has a $300 rebate. Now, for this next part, you Nikon fan people should probably put on some earmuffs.
Can you earmuff it for me?
If you're easily offended by facts, and leave them on for, let's say, maybe the next 30 seconds to a minute. Nikon's current 24-70 2.8 is a great lens. It's one of those staple lenses, but if this rumor is true and Nikon is releasing a second 24-70 2.8Z, I would be disappointed.
Why?
Now, I would be disappointed because 6 years ago, Canon had a 28-70 f2, and within the last year, Sony came out with a 28-70 f2 as well. And no, I didn't forget that Sony is on their second 24-70 2.8 version. They needed that second one because their first one sucked. Nikon's 24-70 2.8Z does not suck. So why didn't Nikon follow up with the same or something better than a 28-70 f2?
I don't know.
You can take your earmuffs off now, Nikon fan people. Now, if and when this rumor becomes true, I am sure I will have more to say. Now, if you're a Nikon shooter and have the 24-70, are you happy with it? Would you replace it? What would cause you to replace it? And what price point would you like to see? Next up, Canon Rumors is reporting that Canon is set to announce a new compact cinema EOS camera. And by EOS, I mean EOS. Canon actually corrected me directly and said it's EOS. Okay, fine. Now, Sony's had their FX line of full frame and crop sensor cinema style cameras for years, so is it now Canon's turn to follow suit? Question mark?
Who typed a question mark?
According to Canon Rumors, the answer to that is, of course, yes. They're claiming that Canon will announce an APS-C version of their new line of cinema EOS cameras. Now, they didn't have any exact specs as of yet, but they did go on to say that it will likely have an all-new APS-C sensor that might have a similar readout speed to that of the R1. They went on to say that they don't think that Canon will be dropping a global shutter sensor just yet, and I tend to agree with that statement. Now, with all of this being said, if it is true, it's been a long time coming, and I would expect Canon to go all in on creating their lower-end cinema line. Now, it also looks like we might not need to wait too much longer to find out, as Canon Rumors says that the announcement will happen the first week of September at the IBC 2025 trade show in Amsterdam that begins on the 12th of September.
Soon.
Now, what would your top 3 specs be for a future Canon cinema camera if this is true? Let me know down below. Now, before we get to the last story, did you catch the last episode of Fronos Photo Raw Talk called Jared vs. Tony? That's right, I had Tony Northrup on for a nice discussion, or was it nice? I mean, based off this AI thumbnail, I don't know if it was bound to be nice.
Oh, cool, preview.
Tony lied all these years. He just admitted 99% of the time I shoot raw.
But to get this episode or all other Fronos Photo Raw Talk episodes, head on over to fronosphoto.com/rawtalk. You can listen on Spotify, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, let's get to the last story. And finally, Sigma has announced the 200mm f2 DG OG Sports lens. Now, my real-world review of this lens came out earlier in the week and is linked down below if you'd like to check it out after this photo news fix. Now, in the meantime, here's what you need to know. This is one of those holy grail dream portrait lenses. Nikon and Canon both offered 200 f2s back in the day, and in fact, Canon had a 200 1.8 before that. Now, you need to keep in mind that fast apertures back in the day were more to help in low light situations versus today, where you can bump your ISO up even higher and then get the added value of the f2 for depth. Now, some quick specs. This lens is currently for Sony E-mount as well as the
Mount Alliance.
It weighs in at 4 pounds or 1,800 grams, which makes it almost double the weight of Sony's 70-200 2.8 version 2. Now, for comparison's sake, Sony's 50-150 f2 weighs in at 3 pounds. Now, there's a screw-on lens hood, a 105mm filter thread at the end. It doesn't have the ability to use drop-in filters because it doesn't have a drop-in filter holder. It can't take Sony's teleconverters, but it does accept Sigma's. And with that being said, I'd never dumb down this lens with a teleconverter. Never. Shoot me. I don't agree with it. Don't use a teleconverter if you buy this lens. You should be slapped in the face, honestly, if you put a teleconverter on this lens.
That was harsh.
Now, being that it is a sports lens, it has HLA focus motors, which are lightning quick, has 6.5 stops of stabilization, 11 aperture blades, but is limited to 15 frames per second on Sony bodies, though I did squeeze out 17 on the A9 III. Now, in my real-world use, I handheld this lens because I'm so damn strong. I mean, will you just look at this?
Would you look at that?
You just look at it.
But on the flip side, some people might still opt for using a monopod, not because they're a
Generation of wimps.
At the end of the day, this lens is sharp, fast focusing, and produces a beautiful image as you would expect. So what does this lens cost? Well, it comes in at $3,300, which is far better than the $6,000 that you used to have to pay for Canons and Nikons way back in the day. This lens is for those photographers who want a very specific look for their portraits as well as action photos. It's priced lower than Sony's 50-150 f2, but higher than a 70-200 2.8. Now, I wouldn't kick it out of my bag if it somehow ended up in it, but Sigma once again knocks it out of the park with a unique quality lens that I hope that we see Canon come out with something similar, or maybe one day we see this on RF as well as Z mount bodies. And there you have it. That's your photo news fix this time around. Thank you very much for watching. Jared Polin, PhonosPhoto.com. See ya.